Hello everybody, Hellcrax here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 427. And today we're going to be talking about the Thunder Stallion. It's an 85-ton clan mech, quad mech, that is a 350, kind of a slow-moving 85-ton pig. Comes in roughly at 2,300 battle value. Alright, what we come with is 14 double heat sinks. It has 17.5 tons of slab armor for 279 points of armor, which is maximum. That's the most it can carry, so it's maxed out the armor. And it comes with some interesting weapons loadout. It has an LBX 20 in the right and center torso, and it has 2 tons of ammunition. Not very much tonnage, but there's a reason for that. 2 tons of ammo to go with the LBX, and basically all I'd be doing is just running nothing but cluster munitions. And then it has 2 LRM-15s in the right torso, 2 LRM-15s in the left torso, and 8 tons of ammo to go with it for 64 shots spread out amongst the 4. So, yep, that means it's got 16 shots per launcher. That's not too bad. So 16 turns. Can bang away, and then 10 turns for the LBX. Not overly bad per se. The only issue that it really comes with the Thunder Stallion is its fugliness. Yes, it's a severely fugly looking beast of the machine, which is probably why I never really owned one until I printed one. I did print some for some of our games to play with, and it doesn't work too bad. And in the prime configuration, you got 28 points of dissipation possible with the double heat sinks, and you're cranking out 20 with the LRMs, and then you got 26 altogether. So yeah, it's one of those mechs that can fire all of its weapons and still stay cool. The only thing it's going to cause issues for it if it gets hit with infernos or it takes ninja hits. But the odds are, if you're hitting it in the internal structure, you're most likely probably going to hit ammo. In most cases, it's just how it seems to work out with this poor beast of machine. Because you got 8 tons in the left torso, and and then you have, of all places, the safest place usually to put ammo is in the head. It has 1 ton of ammo in the head, 1 ton in the center torso. So if you really want to go at it with that cluster munition, you just drain the center torso ammo and then start working on the head ammo. How many times can you think that a mech ever took a lot of crits in the head? Typically, most of the time the head's taken off before the crits ever really matter. Yeah, there's been many times like a sensor or life support gets hit, and on a rare occasion you hit the cockpit and take out the pilot. But I can't remember in all the 30-something, almost 40 years of playing this game, I remember anybody having ammo in their head that ever got hit. And that's a lot of play. Lots and lots of games. I've seen lots of mechs with center torso ammo, may have a ton or 2 in the center torso and that gets hit, but I don't ever remember it ever happening to the head. Your mileage may vary, but it seems to me the safest place to ever put ammo is right in the head, because the mech's usually dead before you ever get into rolling a crit. Alright, so yeah, it's like, then you look at the left torso, you got 4 for the LRM launchers and 8 for the ammo. The odds are that you're probably going to hit the ammo in the left torso and take out the... well, you got case, obviously. It comes with it because it's a clan mech. But you hit any one of those and you just took out all the firepower, really, of the mech, because then all the LRM launchers are, click, 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 no more. But really, this is one of those mechs that when you look at it, 2,300 battle value, not bad. usually could throw one of these suckers into a game and just sit back. You don't, it's like the few games I've ever played with this thing, it's very seldom that the LBX ever got into range. We just used it as a fire support mech sitting in the background and just raining fire because, well, you got 16 turns of LRM launchers. You just sit back and dish it out with those things. And then by the time you get the LRM launchers emptied out, because every 2 turns you're emptying out an ammo bay on the for the LRM-15s. So in roughly 4 turns, you already emptied out 2 of the bays. And if your game goes to 12 turns, you've emptied out a whole bunch of them, just, so that you're down to your last 2 bays of ammo. And then when that happens, a lot of times later on, you're most likely the LBX is getting into action. And let me tell you, I'm always going to be loading up clustering munitions with the LBX, because by the time you get that thing into range, there's a lot of mechs out there that are going to have holes in them. And hitting somebody with an LBX 20, that's a lot of one-point shots that are hunting for those open spots. And a lot of times you can get a lot of crits going for something like that, and you can crit a mech to death pretty quickly. Or you see a VTOL or a hovercraft or something like that, you hit it with an LBX 20 shot, you probably motive killed it in most cases. That's been my experience. You're going to knock it down. It's like, I hit it, and it was okay. Prepare to be either wound down to hardly any movement at all, which makes it really easy just to swat it out of the sky or off the board the next turn, or you just immobile killed it right there. So that's been my experience with the LBX 20. Even though, really, I'd rather have an LBX 10 over the 20, because especially on a mech like this. So, but basically, I always use it is in the games we've played. You just hang back, shoot a lot of LRMs, and just rain down fire. You got 4 of them, and you put a decent pilot on board. You're up in the battle value because of a decent pilot for some good gunnery. Especially if you're running any type of skills like indirect fire specialist or something of that nature, or sniper. Heck, if you got sniper in this thing with cluster hitter, you're really just tearing people up with it, because the closer you get, then you're really hammering hard. Which is nice with the clan weapons, is that you can get right into their face with them and just smack them down. And you do have some decent armor on board this thing to think about in the middle to later games when you slowly work your way up and start hammering away. And if you work this in conjunction with, say, like a Massacre, Warhawk, even like a Daiashi or something of that nature, where you got a 100-tonner with all of its weapons, you're going to be smashing a lot of things with those with this mech, which, hey, nothing to be sneezed about. All right, so I already did allude to what I think about the Prime version. Not bad. The only thing I would love to change on the Prime is get rid of the LBX 20 and swap it for an LRM LBX 10 instead. And with an LBX 10, you're gaining 6 more hexes or inches of range with the thing. And then you're probably going to go, are you really thinking of going all cluster munitions still? That might be the way to go, because this is like a long distance, would turn it more of a long distance crit hunting machine, and which also makes it a little easier to hit VTOLs and hovercraft a little bit farther out, or any type of vehicle for that matter. I'd rather go with that instead of the LBX 20. In my personal experience, it seems like a better choice to be able to hit targets a little bit farther out. So that'd be the only thing I really change again with the versus the Prime version. Just swap out one weapon system. That's all you need. And with you basically 2 tons of ammo to go with it, you're still looking at 20 turns of banging away, and you can back it up with 2 ER medium lasers. And in that case, you can still fire 1 ER medium laser. You can fire your LBX. Let's see, that's what, 2 heat? Yeah, 2 heat with that, so that's 22, 27. You can walk and do that for 4 turns and just putting down some good distance firepower on the targets and hammering them pretty hard. And you're just a happy-go-lucky individual. And you still have the 2 ER medium lasers, so as backup, just in case when the ammo runs dry in the LRM-15s, you still got some decent firepower. And really, with 2 ER medium lasers backing up the LBX-10, the firepower is even better comparatively. So you gained like 4 extra versus the 20. So it's just a slight uptick in damage output. I like it. It's actually a decent mech design to go that direction if you're looking at a pure 100% fire support mech. Now, there's the Thunder Stallion number 2, the Fire Stallion. All right, this one, not bad. It's kind of interesting. It comes in at $25.75 for battle value, still 350. You get 16 double heat sinks for dissipating 32, and the reason for it is you got rid of the everything's still the same when it comes to the 4 LRM-15s, 2 in each torso, along with your 8 tons of ammo, but you got rid of the LBX-20 and replaced it with 2 large pulse lasers. So not bad. So you got 2 large pulse lasers and the 4 LRM-15s. Now, really, I think the biggest issue is, there's no open. Oh yeah, there is some open crit spots still. The 2 large pulse lasers are good for hitting targets, which is good, like that. The only issue is that you can dissipate 32, so basically if you think about it, as you run, you can dissipate 30. You can fire the 4 LRM-15s and 1 large pulse laser without having to worry about any heat at all. Or you're firing 2 large pulse lasers and 2 LRM-15s and not worried about heat. Either way, typically the average damage output got to be around 6 or 9 for the LRM-15s, unless you got cluster hitter or something of that nature, which give you little bonuses to be able to hit your targets on the upping the amount of damage, not hitting the targets, but upping the amount of damage that you're dishing out, depending on the range that you're sitting. If you're at close range, for medium range is 3, and long range you got +2 on the damage chart. It's like having a pilot with Artemis that improves as you get closer, which is nice. Kind of like that. So this is one of those mechs I do like, even though I think that you might have considered swapping one of the large pulse lasers out for 3 medium pulse lasers for a little bit more close-in support, and be an increase in damage output also, and then you're also making kind of use of your heat sinks, kind of maximizing them in some ways. But it is not bad. I can live with it, kind of swapping out how you want to use it. Especially, it's one of those mechs that if you want to sit back and do indirect fire, if they say you have an indirect fire support specialist on board, you can just sit behind a target and just rain down fire on something and not worry about getting shot, type of deal, as long as you got somebody out in front of you. And go that route. And then when you get in closer, then you start throwing in the pulse lasers. Not bad at all. I can live with that one. All right, and they got the Thunder Stallion number 3. All right, this one's a little different. Yeah, we got an ECM suite in the head. We got ER medium laser in the center torso. The right torso still has the LBX-20. The ammo is still kind of, you're at 3 tons of ammo with this one. Now, which is an improvement overall, because then you can go 15 turns instead of the usual 10. Okay, live with that. But then you have a Hag 40 in the left torso. They got rid of all the LRMs and replaced it with a Hyper Gauss rifle. So, shoot, we got, what, 6 ton ammo with this thing? Yeah, 6 tons. So, that's 18 shots with a Hag 40, which is, consider a Hag 40 is like having 2 LRM 20s per se. All right. Yeah, it's dishes the damage out in 5-point blocks because it's just scattering it around. So it's almost like having an LRM launcher, but the distance goes out to 24 versus the 21 with the LRMs. Can't do the indirect or anything. It's a direct fire weapon. Comes in at 26.67 the battle value, but in the overall, in the grand scheme of things, the damage output, because you have a potential up to 60 with the standard version of the Stallion, Thunder Stallion, but with a Hyper Assault Gauss, it's 40, the max you can do. So you're losing potential of 20 points of damage. Getting a little bit more range, but to be honest, I think I'm rather have the 4 LRM 15s, to be honest. It gives you more chances of hitting a target, especially if the firing solution is not as great. One of those 4 shots might hit, but with the Hag 40, you get 1 shot at hitting, and it better be a good solution. So a lot of times you may start rethinking if you're going to throw it downrange or not. And the heat output of this mech is what, 21 potential, and you got 11 double heat sinks, so you can dissipate 22. So it's another design that runs cool. So not bad. You do have the backup ER medium laser, but that still isn't making up for the difference of the 4 LRM-15s. So it is an option to use if you want to, but I'd rather actually run with the one version that I came up with, to swap out the LBX-20 for an LBX-10 and a couple ER medium lasers and go to town with that. So yeah, that's the Thunder Stallion. Not bad. Most of the designs for it are pretty decent. The only one I'm not a big fan of is the 3rd version, which I came up with our version, which swaps out the 20 for a 10 LBX. So not bad. So that's it. That's the Thunder Stallion in a nutshell. Not bad to take out on the battlefield. Will be useful if you decide to use one in a game. All right, so hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Hellcracks out.